buttons. I shouldn't.
Oh, okay. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to Dawn's 2 o'clock advanced class. I'm glad you all found your way today since the emails have been taken away. Everybody's going to the website and finding their way just fine. That's a wonderful thing. Um, I was going to say something else and totally forgot. Oh, I know what it was. It's a beautiful day in the villages today. We are having a tropical storm, so we should have a tropical storm party. Yeah. But that's
Any
okay.
reason for a party, we'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we need the rain. So, that's I don't know how much we need. I don't think we need this much, but we need the rain. So it's a good thing. I don't have to go water my plants.
We're having 80 degrees in
Nice.
Indiana. It's an
Yep.
Indian summer. We broke a
Wow.
record high.
That's
Nice.
This
going
is
to
up
change in
until
2 days,
Yeah,
Tammy.
it's gonna change. So we're
They
trying
had
to
a canto for me, the Indian summer.
Dawn, I think if you could remind everybody to mute themselves when you're teaching because then it knocks out the background noises
Yep.
that we shouldn't be there.
Yep. Well, you just did for me, so thank you so much. Yep. Everybody, you have the ability to mute and unmute yourselves
Oh,
while I'm
no.
teaching.
Okay.
If you get lost, if I went through a chord too quickly, if I'm doing fingering too fast, you are always free to unmute yourselves and just scream at me. I'm okay with that. That's good. All right. Our song for today is Yesterday. By the way, people joining us from Tuesday, welcome, and hold on to those book number 200s because when we finish with book 274, and yes, we're going to go back to the beginning and start again because I did start in the middle. Then I'll be pulling out book 200, and then we'll finish that book as well. So we'll be working in both of the books. I just don't want to do back and forth between the two. So we'll finish with 274 first. This song, Yesterday, words and music by John Lennon and Paul McCartney. That's who gets credit for it, but that's just because they were business partners. It was actually written by Paul McCartney. It was credited to the two of them because everything they did was just split between the two of them. It was first released on the Help album in August of 1965, then as a single in the United States in September of 65. And guess where it went to? Straight to number one. It's one of the most covered songs in history with over 2,200 versions. Wow, now that's a lot of people covering this song because it's so pretty. It was voted the best song of the 20th century by BBC Radio and MTV and Rolling Stone magazine in 1999. It came to McCartney in a dream. This is one that it was in his head, and he went to sleep, and he woke up, and he went right to the piano, and he wrote it. And then he thought, wait a minute, that was way too easy. So he figured he had probably heard it someplace else and was plagiarizing someone's song. So he went to everybody he knew in the music industry and played it for him and said, whose song is this? Have you ever heard this before? And they're like, nope, it must be yours. So finally, when he was convinced that he did indeed write this, he didn't plagiarize anybody, then he began writing the lyrics. And some of us have found out from having this song in our Lowry songbook before that a lot of times what musical groups do is they will use substitute lyrics while they're working on the melody or while they're actually working on the true lyrics that they're trying to come up with. So the substitute working lyrics for Yesterday is called Scrambled Eggs. Scrambled eggs, and you'll never think of it in any other way now except scrambled eggs, because here's how they wrote it. Scrambled eggs. Oh my darling, how I love your legs, but not as much as I love scrambled eggs. So those were the words that they used to finalize the melody, and then they filled in and they thought, I think we need a one-word title with 3 syllables. And so they searched and searched until they found the Yesterday. And it is, like you heard, the number one song of the 20th century, according to a lot of people. It is in your song setup, and it comes up to easy 4/4 at 75. It may come up differently on other instruments. I've also done it on Latin. For some reason, I really like this song on the Latin beat. at 75, and I tried it on Trios Romanticos, and it was really pretty. I used rhythm preset or style setup 0 and 4. I also did it close to the original. Well, here comes Ann and Joe. Let me let them in. Come on in, open the door. On guitars 4/4, which is your smooth guitarist on the smaller instruments. So either smooth full band on the smaller instruments or smooth guitarist, which is guitars 4/4. And it starts out really with just Paul McCartney. He's basically the only guy who does this song. You know, he pretty much did it as a solo song. And he did it as with just strumming his guitar and then added in some strings. There was a string quartet that actually was behind him on this. So I'm going to start it with song setup just so you can hear what it sounds like. Do I have some extra chords for you? Oh yes, because I can. Because I can. But this is yesterday on song setup. So go ahead and mute yourselves. Oh, let me get Linda in. Go ahead and mute yourselves, and we're going to hear yesterday on song setup. Okay. Oh, here comes Mr. Purcell.
That is so pretty.
A pretty song. Yeah, you can see why this is so pretty. Now, this was also, the Beatles never did anything exactly the way it was supposed to be done. And most of our song patterns were done in 8-measure sections. 8-measure sections. But this was totally something completely different, because if you take a look, the first section has only 7 measures. 7 measures, and then he's got 8 measures in the bridge, but 7 measures for the verse. Interesting, huh? So, of course, that's because the Beatles played things backwards and did things upside down, and they changed all the rules, and they searched for new rules to break so that they could come up with their fabulous compositions. But
Dawn,
yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. When you were talking about the setup for it in the beginning,
Mhm.
it's not on the journey and song setup. You said Latin.
Yes, oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Was
Now,
it?
for those of you with journeys, okay,
Uh-huh.
there are 2 song setup lists.
Right.
2, and it starts with the A's and it goes this way. So if you go one direction, it'll go on one list, and if you go the other way, it goes to the other list.
Okay.
So it is there.
Let me double check. I thought I looked on both lists.
Yeah, it is in here. Absolutely is. And if you go to Easy 44, it's smooth full band. And they put the piano strings on top and the flute on the bottom.
Okay.
Okay, but it is
Dawn,
there.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did I hear you say Fields of Gold as a rhythm for the yesterday?
No.
Fields of Gold.
No.
No? Oh,
Nope. You did not hear that. Nope.
I was wondering what I would use. You know, the smooth guitar.
It might work for you. Yeah. I like Guitar 4/4 is my actual favorite on this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But there's many, many different ones that you can try. And you know,
Okay.
let's face it, if it's been recorded 2,200 times,
Hmm.
I'm sure everybody had their own version of this. They didn't all
Right.
pick the same rhythm, the same tempo, the same speed, the same anything. So if there's 2,200 recorded versions out there, just think how many more we can do,
Right.
right?
Okay.
It's a gorgeous song. Let's do some chords. The chords are not hard. I just changed a few of them. I did go to, I can't remember if this was in a jazz book, but I did find it. The F chord is good for 1 measure. Second measure, cross out the A and replace it with E minor or E minor 7, which would be D dinosaur, E elephant, and G gorilla for 2 counts, 2 counts only. Over the C sharp for trebles. Now put your A or A7 back in, G and A. The D minor is good for 3 counts. At the end of the measure, put a C chord, C chicken. Second line, the B flat is good, the C7 is good. Instead of the F, put a B flat, butterfly flat, for 1 count, and then over the A for the word 2, go back to the F. So you're just going to do B flat, F. Here, 2. And then over the word O, beat 4, put a C chord, chicken. Second line, last measure, you may put a 7 over the D minor and a 7 on the G7. So
Oh, I just lost you.
second line, last measure. You may put
Sorry.
7s on both those chords.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
I got it.
C, D, F, F, G. All right. Third line. The first 2 measures are fine. B flat and F. Third measure, cross out the A and replace it with E minor 7. D, E, G for 2 counts. Over the C sharp, put in an A or A7. A or A7, G and A. The D minor is good for 3 counts. At the end of the line, put a C. That should look pretty much like the first line that we did in the song. Line 4, no changes. Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Let's go to the top of page 347. The B flat is good. The F is good. The A7 is good. Now, before we go on with chords, first measure, and between the first and second measure, I want you to put some repeat dots facing forward. So I want you to put a thick line on the measure line, a real thin little line, and then 2 dots over the B line, over that middle line, because we're going to come back and start the song again there. All right, now the third measure, we're going to have 1 chord per beat. 1 chord per beat. The D minor is good over the D. Over the E, beach 2, put a C, chicken. Make the B flat a B flat major 7, which would be A and B flat. It's always the letter -1. And over the E, put a D minor, D and F. Cross out the C in the last measure and replace it with G minor, G and B flat for 2 counts. Over the C for wouldn't, put your C or C7 back in. The F chord in line 2 is fine. The A7 chord is fine. The next measure, 4 chords for the measure, 1 chord per note. And it is the same as what we did just above it. So just copy your chords. D minor is good over the D. Beach 2 over the E, you're going to put in a C, chicken. Make the B flat a B flat major 7, A and B flat. And over the E, D minor. Cross out the C and replace it with G minor, gorilla minor, G and B flat for 2 counts. Over the C, put in a plain old C. Next line, let's go to the third measure. The F is fine. Cross out the A and replace it with E minor or E minor 7 for 2 counts. Over the C sharp, put in an A or A7. The D minor is good for 3 counts. Beat 4 at the end of the line, put a C, chicken. Next line, the B flat is good. The C7 is good. Cross out the F and replace it with B flat, butterfly flat for 1 note. Beat 2 over the A, put your F back in. Beat 4 over the G, put a C, chicken. The last measure of the line, you may put 7s on both the chords, D minor 7, G 7. And that's it for changes. Now,
Good.
the last line, in between the first and second measure, right after you say yesterday, you're going to put 2 dots, a thin line, and a thick line right on that measure line. Okay? Those are your repeat dots that are going to send you back to the top of page 347, the second measure, why she had to go. You probably heard me repeat that. So you want to put those repeat dots in there. And then the last that's just your ending.
Mhm.
Okay? Any questions about that? Nope. Okay, I am going to play it one more time.
Just one.
Yeah.
The dots up on the first line of page 2,
Uh-huh.
those are going to be on the right side, facing forward. Is that right?
Yep,
Right.
they're going to face forward, and they're going to be right here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
The ones at the end are going to be here, facing backwards.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Dawn, could
Yeah.
I ask you about the second line? On the second measure, for the F, you said put a B flat, but the
Yes.
first measure, you didn't have any changes there?
No changes.
Okay, all
No
right,
changes.
okay.
Dawn,
Yes.
on the first page,
Mhm.
second measure,
Yeah.
what was that first chord?
Second measure, cross out the A and replace it with E minor or E minor 7. Elephant minor 7.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Then get your A back in over the C sharp. You got to put the A back in.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yes.
On the top of the second page where we put the repeat signs,
Uh-huh.
before we put those in there, there were 2 skinny black lines. What was that? What did it mean?
All that means when you have 2 thin lines like that, all that means is that is the beginning of a new section.
Oh,
That's all that means.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't have to put that in there, but that's what that means, the end of a section. And if you're going to change a preset or do something different, that would be the place to do it. All
Dawn,
right. Yes.
on line 3 of 347,
Yep.
it starts with F. Did you change that?
No, the F is good for 2 measures.
Okay. And then what comes next? I missed that part.
Cross out the A and replace it with E minor or E minor 7.
Okay.
Okay, just like you did the first line of the first page. Then over the C sharp,
Yeah, I see it. Okay, thanks.
yep, go back to the A. Mhm.
Mhm.
All right, any more questions? Nope. Okay, let me play this the way I heard it, the best way I could redo this from the way Paul McCartney did, and then I will tell you what I did. And I did set it up with some presets, so hopefully I can remember exactly what I
Are
did.
you playing it in song setup now?
No, I am playing
No.
this in Dawn setup. No bass, no drums, just the guitars and Paul McCartney's voice, which is the guitar. Now we're going to add some strings. How did we lose Tam? Okay.
What rhythm did you use and what was the tempo?
Okay, it was still 75, and
Okay.
I used guitars 4/4.
Okay.
Which in the smaller instruments is under smooth guitarist, guitars 4/4, and I started with no bass, no drums. Okay, now if you can't do that, because bass and drums are what keep your beat, if you can't do that, keep your bass in, or you can add bass and drums right from the get-go. And then I added some strings, and I added strings to both the lower chord and the upper. Now it didn't give me the effect that I was really looking for, but it was pretty close. So because they had a string quartet actually playing behind him. And then at the end, I made it smaller by putting the flute, which happened to be on the bottom keyboard, and also added some harmony when I went back to play it the second time.
That flute was a pan flute?
No, it just says regular flute.
Really? Okay.
Yep, it just says regular flute. But if you like the pan flute down there, please feel free to do so. See, this is how you getting creative and being an arranger, it makes things really fun. I'm going to play it one more time, and I'm just going to go to Latin, and I'm going to go to Trios Romanticos, and I'm just going to go to Style Setup. And I'm going to use Style Setup 0, which is a Spanish guitar. And then I'm also going to use Style Setup 4, which is 2 violins. And that actually comes a little closer to what I was looking for in the other arrangement. But it's pretty tough sometimes to get exactly what I'm looking for. Unless I have a whole week to work on one song. That I can't wait to retire. I can't wait. Then I can do one song for a whole week. That would actually be kind of fun. Okay, Trios Romanticos. And I did lower it to 75. It comes up to 100. And it gives it a little different flavor. But I've always liked this song on Latin. I'm not sure why, but I always have.
Dawn, did you say you used number 0 and 4?
0 and 4.
But then you had a horn on the bottom, some sort of a horn on the
It was a
bottom.
trombone, yeah. Came up with a trombone on the bottom. I wasn't as crazy about the trombone. If you like the flute better, because those 2 violins were actually pretty good. But if you didn't like the trombone, then you have to come up here and take out the brass and put the woodwinds in.
Well, and when I hit on the number 4 list that has all the instruments for each setup, number 4 is fills in harmony for Trio Romanticos.
Now, different instruments have different setups. You have to remember, this is an E instrument, okay? And if you've got vintage and style setup, This is going to be on the style setup side. The vintage is going to be what the A organs have. The A organs being the Prestige, the Sterling, the Palladium, those instruments. Those setups are a little bit different from the E organ setups. Okay? So your
Okay.
sounds are going to be a little different. Those of you that have style setup and vintage, you get the best of both worlds.
Mhm.
Because I'm working on the journey right now, if you've got an A instrument or you've got a marquee or one of the larger instruments, you're going to have a little bit different sound. So you're going
Okay.
to have to find the ones that work for you. You might have to do a little bit more hunting.
I kept listening for the fiddles and the harmonica and they didn't come up.
Oh, okay.
What was your tempo, Dawn?
That was still 75. I still use 75 on that. But the Latin gave it a whole different flavor, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So don't be
Well-
afraid to try different sounds, different rhythms, and just have some fun with this. It's a fabulous song. Any questions before we
Yeah.
go into?
Yeah, I have a question,
Okay.
Dawn.
Yeah.
I don't have it in the song setup,
Okay.
but then I checked to see guitar 4/4, and I don't have that either.
Ooh, see me after class. Go to, I think for you, Soft and Easy Variation 1 is going to give you guitars. It's not exactly the same, but it works about the same.
I might
Or-
use,
Or
I might
Soft and
just use
Easy.
the Latin.
Or just use Latin, absolutely. Or go to Soft and Easy, no variation. That's going to give you more Soft and Easy 4/4. But the guitars, which is your Variation 1, that comes close to the guitars. You have to take some stuff out if all you want is to start it with just guitars. Take out the drums, take out the bass. You might have to take out the lower sound. You might have to take out an Orchestra Plus. Any other questions?
Dawn,
Uh-huh.
on page 3, you added the strings after the first measure in line 3.
Mhm.
And then you went down to the lower keyboard on the second page after the first measure. You went down to the lower keyboard.
Correct, yeah.
And
Now you can do
then-
that wherever you want.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, wherever you feel like changing
So
sound.
then on the last part, you repeated, I think, where the last 3 measures where it just repeats, where it's just saying,
Yeah, but, that's just the
so-
ending.
so
That's just
that,
the
did you go back up to the?
Yeah, now here's where you want to put your repeat dots. Your repeat dots on the bottom go here,
Oh,
okay? Before
Okay.
the mm-ms, okay?
Yeah,
Where they're going
okay.
back to, the top of that same page where your double lines are.
oh, yeah. But at
Yep.
the very end, you kind of repeated those last 3 measures again.
Oh, no, I did not. All I did
did
was go to
not?
the bottom. Nope, I just
Oh, I thought it was like a second
Bottom
repeat,
keyboard.
just the last 3 measures, but you didn't do that?
Nope. It sounds like it
The
does.
3 measures before that are the same.
Yeah, it says, "Oh, I believe in yesterday."
and-
Your mm-ms are the same as the line above. That's
Okay.
also a very common way to end a song, is just to repeat the last couple of measures.
Right, yeah.
Remember, the Beatles never did anything that was common.
No.
So that's why 7 measure verses instead of 8 measure verses on this. Yep.
Right.
Makes
And
it
where did
completely
you
different.
add the strings?
I added the strings. First page, third line, right between yesterday and suddenly.
Right.
Okay, that's where I added them the first time.
Okay.
Well, again, you can add them wherever it's comfortable for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fun song to arrange because everybody knows it. It's pretty. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. So yeah, this is one of those that you just take it and run. Just have a good time with it. Next week, for those of you who don't want to do fingering, we're going to do Yesterday once more, which is the Carpenters. Okay.
Oh,
So for those of you that I am going to say goodbye to, have a wonderful time. Do not get too soggy. It's good weather for ducks in Florida right now. So
just say we're not doing fingering now?
yes, we are. I'm saying
Oh.
goodbye to the people that don't want to do fingering.
Okay, That's
Are
it.
you go-
Dawn, what did you mean you were gonna do yesterday, again next week, but with
No,
a
yesterday
partner?
once more. The song Yesterday Once More.
Oh. Okay,
are
Yeah,
you
we're
do-
going to do yesterday again, once more.
okay.
That's on the next page.
Yeah, the next page says yesterday once more. I'm not going to do yesterday again.
Okay.
Are you not gonna do both songs today for chords?
Am I not going to do what?
You're not gonna give the extra chords?
For what?
For yesterday once more.
Nope, only doing one song.
Right.
Only doing one song this week.
Okay.
Thanks,
Hard to
Dawn.
get in two songs.
Next week.
I do two songs only if there's no additional chords. It's not
Right.
a hard song to play. There's not a whole lot to teach in it. Then I'll go ahead and do two songs. But if it's a song where there's a lot of nice stuff to work on,
Yeah.
we'll keep it to one song. Like I said, I can't wait to retire so I can spend the whole week on one song. Oh boy, that would be fun. But
Okay.
no worries, I'm
Yeah,
not
me
going
neither.
anywhere, so, no worries.
Dawn, could I ask one quick
You
question?
may.
Where you made the change on the top of the page, the second page on 347, after the first measure where the double lines are there, you changed sounds there too.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what sounded, you went from guitars to strings on the first page on the third line, and then you had another change up there after you came back, on the repeat. What
Yeah,
did you change to up there?
I added a harmony. One button
You
push.
added a harmony, that's all. Okay,
One button push. Yep.
okay.
Sometimes those one button pushes are the
So that was your
easiest ones
change
to
there. You
use.
added a harmony. Okay, okay.
Good.
I didn't write that down.
Okay, let's do some fingering. For those of you who are sticking around for fingering, let's do some. Page 1, G3, F2, F2, A1. Now you can circle it if you wish, or there is a rest there, so you can just move your hand. A1, B2, C sharp 3, D1, circle it. You're going to tuck it under. E2, F3, E2, D1, D1. Second line, D5, D5. So if you wanted to put a check mark at the end of that line, go ahead, because you got to drastically move your hand. D5, D5, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. Put an arrow on the B flat, make it a 4. A3, A3, G2, F1. Put an arrow on the A, make that one a 4. G3, D1, F2, A4, A4, check mark. You do want to take a breath here, even though you're not really going to be moving your hand. Oh, I got Linda coming back in. G3, F2, F2, A1, B2, C sharp 3, D1, circle it, you're tucking it under. E2, F3, E2, D1, D1, check mark, move your hand. Next line, D5, D5, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1, B flat 4, put an arrow on that one because it's not the fingering you would normally do. A3, A3, G2, F1, put an arrow on this A, make it a 4. G3, E1. Top of the second page, F2, A4, A4, check mark, big change. A1, A1, D3, E4, F5, E4, D3, E4, D3, C2, D3, A1, 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 D3, E4, F5, E4, D3, E4, D3, C2. I haven't, nope, it should be an E4. I have a typo in my book. F5, C3, B flat 2, A1, G3 with a circle, you are crossing it over. F2, F2. If you want to do a check mark, you may. If you want to do a 1 tuck under, go ahead. A1, B2, C sharp 3. Weather alert. D1 with a circle. D2, F3, E2, D1, D1. Check mark. Next line, D5, D5, C4, B flat 3, A2, G1. Put an arrow on the B flat, make it a 4. A3, A3, G2, F1. Put an arrow on the A, make it a 4. G3, D1. F2, A4, A4. And then the last couple measures are F2, A4, G3, D1, F2, A4, A4. Got it?
Okay.
Yep.
What a beautiful song this is. Every time I play it, this is just one of those really pretty ones. But I always think of it as the scrambled eggs song. Oh, my darling, how I love your legs. But not as much as I love scrambled eggs. Pretty funny.
Correlation. Oh,
Okay, well, stay dry. Play
You
your
too.
instruments, stay dry. And we will
much.
see you next week. David, I'll see you tomorrow. Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, John.
Bye,
You guys are
Annette.
welcome. Do not
Bye.
forget,
Thank you.
name
Thank
that
you, guys.
tune.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Name that
Joe.
tune on
Bye,
Friday. I'm
We
not sure what
appreciate you.
time.
Bye, Tim. Bye, Dawn.
Bye.
Thank you.
John,
What
what
are we
did you
playing
say
next
about
week?
Friday?
Friday, name that tune. I'm not sure if it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. It's the
Oh.
Zoom
What are we
musical.
playing? What are we playing next week? Is it
Next week,
yesterday?
yesterday, once more. I know, it sounds redundant, but
Next page, 348.
it's the next song. The next song. Yep. Okay. I will see you guys next
See you
time.
Friday.
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
John.
Skip where or
Bye,
when?
everybody.
Nope, we did not skip.
Bye.
Nope. Okay, bye. Love you guys.
Bye. Love you
Bye.
too.
You.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.